Do you know, today, there's a book out called The Dark City Dames, the wicked women of the films of the 40s and the 50s. And today I'm very honored to have a very fabulous Anne Savage. How are you, Anne?
I'm fine,
The
darling.
wicked. Tell me, how do you feel about listening to all that today?
Well, I like it.
Do
I
you?
mean, it seems to be very much in style today.
It certainly did.
Doesn't
It
it?
didn't at that time, did
No,
it?
no.
Where's Anne Savage from?
And
originally?
Savage is from South Carolina,
Uh-huh.
Columbia, South Carolina.
How did you come to Hollywood?
Through my mother remarried again and brought me to Los Angeles
You were very young.
with her husband. Yes, right. Yes, I was about, I think, 8 or 9 years old at that time.
How'd you get in films?
That was a good. That's a good question. I went to Max Reinhardt's dramatic school,
Right.
and that school was set up for the young aspiring actors to be seen by the studios, and they would put on plays,
Right.
and maybe just some scenes at times. And I worked in the office for my tuition.
Did you really?
Yes.
How wonderful.
And so when they put on the new show for all the talent scouts to come,
Right.
I had a scene that I did, and one talent scout wanted to test me at Fox, and then I was also offered a test at Columbia.
Which one did you get?
I went to Columbia.
Uh-huh.
I was told that there were too many blondes at Fox.
Cohn was at Columbia.
He was indeed.
Tough guy, Cohn.
Yes, but very nice to me.
Was he really?
Yes, I got along with him very well. Yes.
How was your test? Who's your test with? Do you remember?
I tested with Tom Keene. Do you recall?
Tom Keene,
Yes.
of course I
Yes.
do, yes.
Well, this was in 1942.
42, and I, guess what, darling? I was out here.
Oh, you
I
were?
did movies out here. As I was 9 years old, I did a film called Song of the Open Road with Jane Powell, her first film, too.
Oh, yes.
In the 40s. And I came out here, too, as a child, and I went to HPS, Hollywood Professional School, on the Boulevard near near Western.
I know of that school.
And Falcom's Dancing School.
Right.
I studied fencing and
Oh,
tap
you
dancing.
did? How
I did it all,
wonderful.
just like you, darling. But you became, evidently, you became on stock. Is that it? You got stock contract?
I
that
got
what
a
happened?
stock contract, that's right.
Tell my audience what stock contract really is.
Well, it's a contract with 6-month options at different rates of money.
Right.
And the studio will decide at each 6-month option if they want to pick you up or let you go.
Right. But they groom you. They groom you to become a star or a starlet?
Yes, yes, yes. They had the star system going then. And that's when they trained everybody, including their directors, their writers, and certainly all their actors.
And they were all young.
And they were wonderful people. I worked with Josephine Hutchinson, who was a great Broadway actress. She was our dramatic coach, and we all studied with her. And
Elocution,
yes,
to
yes.
speak,
They taught you everything.
the way to walk,
Absolutely.
to carry yourself,
Absolutely.
for all moments, for everything you do.
Every way.
Even if you want to play a slut, you have to. Am I right there?
Well, that's the best part.
Did you enjoy doing those kind of roles?
Yes, because
Why?
because they're meaty.
They're meaty.
The good girls are not very meaty, the parts. And besides, I never looked like an ingenue, even when I was.
Really? You didn't look tough blonde.
Well,
Anne, really,
I had a
Anne
sweet
Savage,
face.
I'm looking at you. Were you really a tough blonde?
No, I wasn't
No, you
really,
weren't.
but they were more fun.
What was your very first film? The very first.
First film was with Warren Williams. No, not Warren Williams. Goodness gracious, I've forgotten his last name.
It goes. You've done so many.
Yes, but he was doing the Lone Wolf series.
Oh, Lorne Channing.
No,
Wait a minute. I know who you're talking
I think
about.
it was Warren Williams.
Yes, okay.
And with Eric Bloor.
Yes.
And the two were the main characters. And that was my first part in one of their films.
But you did a lot of westerns too, didn't you?
Not so many. I did several with Russell Hayden. And
Do you ride?
not very well, but I did.
But you had to.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
right. And then I made a film after I left Columbia called Renegade Girl, which is a nice Western. And I was an outlaw
Really?
With a group of outlaws, yes, yes.
You enjoy doing that?
Again, loved it, yes.
Did you ever get hurt on the set?
No, but I was doubled by the girl that doubled Jennifer Jones in Duel in the Sun.
Oh.
And she was a wonderful writer, and she had a way of picking up your mannerisms and your walk. And I was looking at the rushes one day, and in I rode, and I thought, gee, I handled that so well, and it wasn't me. It was her doubling for me.
The Last Crooked Mile. That was a good film. I tried to get the clip, but I couldn't get it. But tell me about that film.
Last Crooked Mile, I was
It was a good
I was
movie.
called to come and play a heavy, come out to see about a heavy part again.
Right.
And Mr. Yates wanted to build...
That's Herbert.
Herbert Yates.
Yates from Republic Studios.
From Republic Studios.
I met him.
And wanted to Bill Redberry, who was then a Western star, we'll say.
Don, is it Don?
Don
yeah.
Redberry.
Don, right.
And they wanted to build him into a leading man.
Oh, so they got you together with him.
And they had, what's her name, that lovely, darling girl. We were both under contract with Columbia at the same time.
Audrey Totter?
No. She was very young, very beautiful ingenue.
Doesn't matter, darling.
It'll come to me later. Anyway, I was asked to come and play this part, which was a wonderful, heavy part.
Right.
They had seen Detour, of course. You see, everything stems from Detour.
That's right. You did Detour. Detour was what year, actually?
1945.
Detour was 1945?
Right.
And that's with Don...
No.
I mean, Tom Neal.
Tom Neal.
You've done 4 movies with Tom.
I've done 4. Yes, that Detour was the 4th film.
4th, was it the
3 at Columbia.
3 at Columbia. But
Right.
Tom Neal,
Yes.
hot guy at the time in movies.
Yes, he was.
He was the hot Tom Cruise of those days.
Yes, he
Am
was.
I right?
Yes, he was.
And,
yes. And he
the
was
women just loved him.
They loved him, and he was a boxer.
Was he a real boxer?
Yes.
Oh.
And he went to Yale, and he was very bright. He was a very bright man.
Right.
And
he went to Yale, and he was a boxer and an actor.
Yes. And
interesting.
Apparently came from a rather
wealthy
nice,
family.
Yes.
Very wealthy.
That's
I know.
right.
About
Yes.
him. And trouble happened with Tom Neal.
Trouble.
Evidently, he was a trouble boy.
Yes, he was.
He evidently he got involved with Barbara Payton, who I think he married.
Not
Robert Payton?
That's the wrong first name. Barbara Payton.
Yes.
Did you say Robert?
No, Barbara. Barbara.
Oh, Barbara.
Payton.
Excuse me, darling.
Isn't that right?
My hearing.
That's okay, darling. Barbara Payton.
Yes.
And Barbara Payton used to go with French Antone. He was married to...
she married French
Antone. Yes.
Right.
But what happened to French Antone and Mr. Tom Neal?
Well, it was over Barbara Payton.
They were fighting.
They were fighting.
They got arrested. He did.
Well, he beat.
He beat French Antone up,
Tone,
did he? Did he really?
Badly. Yes, he did.
Because he's an ex-boxer.
Yeah, well, and not only that, there was a big difference in ages.
Did that hurt his career?
I think so.
It did.
Oh yes, yeah.
But he murdered somebody, did he?
He murdered his wife that he married in. They were
In
married
Palm
and lived in Palm
In
Springs.
Palm Springs.
Yes.
So
yes.
he really went out the...
Yes, he did.
He drank a lot, see?
That I don't know. Yeah. He was just like 2 different people. One day he would be charming and could be very charming.
Was he that way on the set?
Yes.
He was?
I had difficulty with him on the set.
You did?
Yes.
Could
right.
you, like, on Detour, was it?
No, not on Detour.
No?
That was, by that time, he'd been, I think, set down many times, and he was working with Edgar Ulmer, who would never have stood for any shenanigans on the set. But Tom was full of them.
I love Tom. I love Tom Neal. I'm going to show a clip from Detour right now.
Okay.
My audience, one of my favorite films of yours, matter of fact. You've done so many.
Yes, it
and
is.
This is a big favorite of all the youngs today.
Yes,
they
it
love
is.
it. Let's see a clip from
All right.
Detour.
Paderewski, I presume. It's beautiful. You're going to make Carnegie Hall yet, Al?
Yeah, as a janitor. I'll make my debut in the basement.
I don't blame you for being bitter, darling, but you mustn't give up hope. Why, someday...
Yeah, someday. If I don't get arthritis first. In the meantime, let's blow this trap. hon?
Oh, I don't think so, Al. I lose my appetite working in those flea bags. Let's go home.
Okay.
I can't stand much more of that dump. Did you see that drunk tonight trying to paw me?
No, what drunk?
Does it matter what drunk?
Say, what's the matter with you tonight, darling? That's the third time you started to tell me something and then stopped. We shouldn't have any secrets from each other, Sue. Next week we're going to make with the ring and the license. You and me will be a team.
Yes, that's right. In the Bush League.
I don't get you.
We've been struck out.
It's a funny way to talk, darling. Don't you want to marry me?
Al, look, I love you. You know I do, and I want to marry you.
But?
But not now. Only after we've made good. Sunday I'm going away. Oh, I know you'll think it's silly. That's why I hesitated to tell you. But I'm going to California. I want to try my luck in Hollywood.
That's the most stupid thing I ever heard of. Don't you know millions of people go out there every year and wind up polishing cuspidors? I thought you had better sense.
You sound as if you don't think I have any talent.
That has nothing to do with it.
I'll make out all right.
Maybe. But what about me? Doesn't it mean anything to you that you're busting up all our plans? We may not see each other for years?
It won't be that long.
I thought you loved me.
I do. You know I do. Well, here we are. Al, why can't you see my side of it? I'm young. We both are. And we've got all the time in the world to settle down. Really, darling, what I'm doing is the only sane thing to do. I hate the thought of being so far away from you, but we'll be together again someday. Maybe you'll decide to come out too later on.
So long.
Al, aren't you going to kiss me goodnight?
Sure. Why not? Good night.
Well, guess what? That blonde was not Ann Savage. This is Ann Savage. Will you believe it? Look at that. Naughty, naughty. Who was that blonde, darling?
I'm trying to think of
That
her
was
name.
Tom Neal, but that
Yes, right. Yes, and that was his girlfriend in the film.
And you come in really at the end of the film.
I come in halfway into the film.
Well, if my director could go in to look for that clip when we're talking somehow, I don't know how we'd do it, but boy, you look sensational there.
I know, but I don't
had
look
dark hair.
I know, but I don't look sensational when you see me on the road.
No.
He picks me up, out in the
he
desert.
does?
Yes.
Oh, he
yeah.
picks you up on the desert.
Yes.
And that's where it all began. This is really you've done so many bad girl pictures, really, Ann. And I love you. See, this one threw me off. This one threw me off. Look at you there. That's
Well,
beautiful.
I had blonde hair at Columbia.
God, look at yourself here. Look at this. Look, can I see this?
That funny.
Look at may I? Oh, look at you. God, you're just.
Well, you know,
and this is see here is you and the girl.
Yeah, it's me, and both of those are me.
Both of them, and that's where it got me confused. See what I mean?
Well, you're not the only one that's been confused by that.
When they see the blonde.
When they see the blonde, and I've never seen Detour, and I come and speak with my film, and I'm sitting in the audience waiting for the movie to be over to talk to them. Some of them think that I was the blonde. Yes,
and the one singing is not you either.
No.
The singing one. So we don't need the singing clip, Carol.
Oh, but
this is you, though.
That is me.
No, okay. Let me see this one. May I see it? Look at that. Always with guns.
Yes.
See, those days, guns was a fantasy thing.
Yes, I know.
See, when they showed movies
but
with gangsters.
But it made women interesting because they were dangerous women.
Yeah, but it was a kind of a different danger. See, today,
oh, yes,
it's so real.
Oh,
this is real.
Today is frightening.
Am I right?
Yes, frightening.
This was not. This was a fantasy thing.
Right.
You have been written up in Times.
Yes.
Look at all these. Matter of fact, regarding
Detour,
but also their takeoff on what's her name's the thriller with Glenn Close, The Fatal Attraction.
But again, they were talking about Detour in that.
They were talking about Detour.
Yeah, they were comparing how mean we were. You see the different women. I'm supposed to have the title of being the meanest woman in film history.
Really?
On the screen.
I'm looking at you, and you're so gentle and so kind.
Well,
I
I
interviewed
am.
Audrey Hepburn. I mean, no, Audrey Totter.
Totter played wonderful parts,
You
too.
did movies with her.
Yes, no, I didn't. Yes, I
You
did.
worked in a
Oh,
movie?
yes, I worked in her film. I played a very small part at Republic.
At Republic.
In her picture, yes.
Republic had a lot
Yes.
of wonderful, interesting women,
Yes.
didn't they?
They did. And you know, Audrey and I are very good friends today.
Uh-huh.
I didn't know her then, except on the set.
She's from Elgin, Illinois.
Yeah.
And I'm originally
Yeah.
from Rockford. We were talking about that,
really?
Illinois.
Aw.
And she's a charming, charming
Yes,
lady.
she is. And funny. She has a wonderful sense of humor.
Yes, she is.
And she looks great.
You were married. You got married your agent. Your manager?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
Tell me about
That's
that.
correct. Well, he first was the manager in at the dramatic school where I was going. And he was married then, very happily married. So I had nothing to do with that.
You didn't break that up.
No,
you were a good
no,
girl. Okay.
No, right. And but when I was asked to come and test at Columbia, he took me over and acted as my agent, and got me set up. And then I didn't see them because I used to see his wife too,
Right.
and for 2 years. And then after I'd gotten started at Columbia and made several pictures and so forth, I got a call one day from Bert, that was his first name, and he said, Jane, my wife, has gone to Reno to get a divorce, and he said, I'd like to take you out to dinner. So I thought, well, why not? He was a very nice man, and I liked him very much. And so that's how that got started.
Oh, great.
Right.
So you were married how many years with him?
We were married, he died on the eve of our 27th anniversary.
So it was a happy marriage.
Yes. Oh, marvelous.
I'm looking at you,
Yes,
Ann. You had a good life.
marvelous. I had a wonderful life.
You were very happy.
We
Any
lived-
children?
No children.
No.
He had a son by his first marriage, and I guess I don't know what happened, but anyway, it just didn't turn out too
I'd
well.
like to tell a quote, show a quote, or say it, a quote from Turner Classic Movies about your movie of Detour. Detour was 1945?
That's right.
Wow.
That's right.
It says here, life is like a baseball game. You gotta take a swing at whatever comes along before you wake up and find it's the ninth inning.
That's right.
And that's in a drunken voice.
That's right.
Tell me, give me that little voice of yours. Say it. Come on, I want to hear that.
Oh,
Boy, I
please.
love it.
Well, I'd say life is like a baseball game. You got to take a swing at things whenever anything comes along before you wake up and find it's the ninth inning.
What do you think of the movies today, Dan? You go to films today?
Not often.
Is it because
not
it's...
Oh, I don't know. It's just not.
It's different?
It's just very different and not entertaining.
Hollywood has changed. You live in
Yeah,
Hollywood.
I do.
And
Yes.
going down Hollywood Boulevard, I mean, it has changed. They're
that is-
trying to do something,
Yes.
but it's not going to happen now.
I don't know. I don't
Nan,
know.
it's not going to happen. I don't care what you say. Johnny Grant, it's not going to happen because too many people are disturbing the pot. Do you know what I mean?
It's a different world now.
Total. Total. It's not, it was innocent.
It was.
Western Avenue and Hollywood Boulevard is a garbage pan. But now, I mean, that's them. But when I was there as a kid, when we were,
Yes.
it was wonderful.
Very nice.
Charming,
Yes, it was.
charming.
It was.
No violence.
No.
People stayed in their own neighborhood, the violent people. They never came
Well,
and
if
mixed.
they were there, we didn't know about it.
We didn't know about
No.
it. Do you think television has a lot to do with this?
Right.
Do you think so? Do you think it does?
I don't know. I really don't. I really don't think they have.
Are you writing a book about your life?
No,
Ann Sam?
I have.
Why?
I have no
You,
interest. My life is in this book.
it's yes, I
Dark
know.
City Dames.
Yes, yes,
Right.
yes. Actually, your life is in that. It's not your life. It's okay.
Well,
it's your career.
it is.
But your life as
But my life after my career is in the book.
yes. Oh, it's
Yes.
after.
Yes.
Yes.
As
yes.
well as.
Oh, I see.
Yes. The first part
So
was.
you're satisfied with this?
Yes.
That's it?
Yes, yes.
Don't you want to write about what you have
No,
experienced,
no,
Stan?
no, because I talk about it all the time with Detour when I go on on the
Make
stage.
appearances?
Yes,
Uh-huh.
make appearances.
And what do you say to the audience?
Well,
What do you
first
actually-
we talk about the film.
Right.
But
What
then,
kind of questions do they ask?
well, what kind of questions? Why, why did they make me so homely?
Yes.
You know.
And you were lovely.
And, well, that's nice. And they think that I look well, when they see me. But I was made up to look very dirty.
Dirty?
And she was psychopathic, you see, and very tough.
It got great reviews.
Well, it was the greatest part you could have.
Yes, yes.
Absolutely.
All women wanted this.
Especially in a B picture.
Uh-huh.
They didn't.
Was that a
have
B?
them.
That was a B
It was
movie?
a B movie.
Yeah, you've done a lot of B movies.
Yes,
Queen
I
of the
did.
Bees,
well,
really.
there are a lot of Queen of
Did that?
the Bees.
Yeah, right. Are we ready for a clip? I love to see a clip of. We're going to see if this is you. Okay, let's see.
all right.
Okay.
Near the airport at Desert Center, I pulled up for water. There was a woman. Hey, you! Come on if you want to ride. How far are you going?
How far are you going?
That took me by surprise, and I turned my head to look her over. She was facing straight ahead, so I couldn't see her eyes. But she was young, not more than 24. Man, she looked as if she'd just been thrown off the crummiest freight train in the world. Yet, in spite of this, I got the impression of beauty. Not the beauty of a movie actress, mind you, or the beauty you dream about when you're with your wife, but a natural beauty. A beauty that's almost homely because it's so real. Then suddenly she turned to face me.
How far did you say you were going?
Los Angeles?
L.A.? L.A.'s good enough for me, miss.
What I was afraid of.
What'd you say?
Oh, nothing, just thinking out loud.
People get in trouble for doing that.
What's your name?
You can call me Vera if you like.
You live in Los Angeles?
No.
Where are you coming from?
Oh, back there.
Needles?
No.
Oh, sure, Phoenix. You look just like a Phoenix girl.
Are the girls in Phoenix that bad?
The girl must have been pretty tired because she fell asleep not 20 minutes after she stepped into the car.
Looking at that. Looking at yourself then.
I can't
Look
believe
at
it.
yourself then. How do you feel
That's
about
funny.
that? How do you feel?
Well, that was a shock in those days, Skip, because, the studios always wanted their actresses to be very beautiful.
And glamorous.
And glamorous,
They never
yes.
went out of that house until they
no,
dressed properly.
You were so right.
That's right.
And it was a sort of breaking the ground for that sort of thing, because not too long after a Detour, Olivia de Havilland did the
Snake Pit?
Snake Pit,
Yes.
and fought with Warner Brothers to be very realistic.
Uh-huh.
And they didn't
She
want
did.
her to be. Yes, she
Ah,
fought
see.
them, but she won
Yes,
out.
yes.
Because it was not part of their belief in
Realistic things.
No,
They want
they didn't
fa- yeah,
want it.
yeah, that's right.
And really, you know something, you lose the. I think you lose the little magic.
A
you
mystique,
see.
my darling.
Yes,
so you
that's
never
right.
should. I agree with
That's
you.
right.
I absolutely
Yes,
agree with you.
right.
If you would have to do it all over again, Anne Savage, would you?
I would do it again.
Would you really?
Sure, I could play it.
There's no
Yeah.
regrets, no bitterness,
Oh,
no nothing?
no.
You've had a
no.
good time?
I had a wonderful time. I couldn't wait to get to the set the next day because
Really?
I love working with Edgar Ulmer. He was a wonderful director.
Was he your favorite?
Well, he was my favorite, yes.
That's what I mean, yeah.
Yes, yes.
What have you learned about Anne Savage?
Oh, gee. I don't know what to say to that, because I I loved my work. I was always on time. I was always ready and pleasant to work with. And
there was no temperament stardom as stars. Those
none
they
whatsoever.
few of them, but they took care of the studio, made sure.
Oh yes, no, there none of the younger actresses ever I saw any just temper and that sort of thing. Only when you became a very big star. Let's put it that way.
And you're still working, Anne. You're still doing television. You get work on television.
Well, I have turned down some things. Skip.
Why, Andrew?
I just don't want to be in front of the camera that long.
I see.
That long, day after day in a part. And I did turn down a very nice part. I should have.
Do you have regrets for it?
No.
No regret?
No.
Really?
But I love speaking to an audience.
Mm-hmm.
It is it is a wonderful feeling.
You've done theater before that when you were a kid?
No,
see, you only were a film. Film.
That's
and
right.
now you're realizing the
What I
theater
missed.
is the theater.
Yes.
Live. I've done that all my life.
Yes.
I love it.
Well, then you
love
know.
it. I have a showcase at Cafe Roma on Monday nights.
Isn't that wonderful?
And on Cannon in Beverly Hills.
Oh, very
and I
nice.
love it. Last night I was there till 1:30, and here I am,
bless
11
your
o'clock
heart.
in the morning here, talking to you, Ann Savage.
Well, it's wonderful. They're so appreciative. The audiences
Aren't they great?
that I play to anyway are. Yes, they are.
They're just great. You travel. You go to the book signings for the picture signings over at the Beverly Garland too sometimes, don't you?
Once I've been, yes.
You
once.
enjoyed that?
I did. It was fun, yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
Thank you, Anne.
And then we had a book signing with this book.
With this book?
Yes, in front at the Egyptian Theater.
Oh, it's called The Dark City Dames.
Yes.
The Wicked Women of Film with Eddie Muller.
Yes,
It's a wonderful
written by
book.
Eddie Muller, and he's a wonderful writer.
It's a good story, too.
It is.
But you
really
should
is.
do your own book, I'm telling you. I have my book out. It's called The Boy with the Betty Grable Legs.
Oh, I was looking at that.
That's my book. That's my book. It's the showbiz memoir of my life.
Yes.
And you could have that.
Thank you.
And I'll get you an autographed copy.
I would
And
love
it's still
it.
out there. You can get it at all the bookstores.
That's great. All right.
And it's the showbiz memoir of
That's
myself
wonderful.
growing up
Bless
in
your
Hollywood
heart.
as a child actor,
Well, good for you.
working on the road.
Fun.
And it's wonderful talking to you. You're just a charming lady, and I've
Oh, thank
enjoyed
you.
myself.
Thank you.
And I knew Gene Wallace, and we used to talk about Tom and French on Tone.
Yes.
Gene Wallace was my dear